Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be discussing the most frequently asked question I get. What's in my camera bag? So I get these kind of questions a lot. What's your setup? What gear do you use? What lenses do you use? And I do not love the huge emphasis on gear personally, but I do feel that the kind of lenses you use can make quite a big difference on the outcome of your photo. So that's why today I'll be showing you my gear. Alright, so first things first, the camera I use. I cannot show you the camera that I use for daily photography because it's the one I'm filming with right now. But I can show you the first camera that I ever got. It's this cute little 40D. It's really old. I bought this one secondhand from a photographer that I knew, and I loved Canon ever since. So I started buying Canon lenses, and before you knew it, I had a whole Canon kit. If I were to choose again, I'd still use Canon. And why, you ask? Well, I feel like Canon has overall great quality, and I feel like Canon is all about, feeling and passion and intuition, and like Nikon is more technical and everything, and a brand like Sony with all their mirrorless cameras is more like for gadget freaks, It's not really my brand, and I'm super happy with my Canon camera, and I felt like the 80D was the best possible camera I could get within my budget. And it had to have great video qualities, a flip screen, and obviously great image quality, and I feel it ticks all of the boxes, so that's why a Canon 80D. Alright, so the next lens I want to show you is the lens that I had first. This is a newer version, but this is the first lens that I ever owned. It's a nifty 50 or a plastic fantastic, whatever you want to call it. It's a 50mm 1.8, and this one is so sharp, it's so fast. I say sharp wide open, it's not amazing, but if you go to f2.2, 2.4, 2 point up and higher, it's amazing. So great overall lens, great budget lens, because it's one of the cheapest lenses out there. And I've used this one for filming my previous videos, but I've replaced this one for another one, which I'm going to show you a little later on. And hey, if I only were to buy one lens, and if I was on a budget, like a really tight budget, this would be the lens I'd go for. Alright, this is really close up, but I just attached the 50mm to my camera because I want to show you my newest lens. Could you please? No? Yes, thank you. This is the... No, don't lose focus. Come on. Concentrate. Thank you. This is the 28mm 1.8. Okay, it's had enough. This is the 28mm 1.8, and I love this lens. I have bought it for filming, but I also bought it because the 50mm was the widest angle that I had, and since it's a crop sensor camera, that means that was not wide at all. I lost all context. When I was in small rooms, all I could do was focus on one part of the room because, the 50mm was sort of like an 80mm on my crop sensor camera, so I needed a wider angle. And this one is sort of like a 35-40 on a full frame. And I just love that it still focuses on one subject, and that it gives you great bokeh, but it also gives you more context. I just bought it last week, so it's still really new, although it is secondhand, but it is in great condition, and I haven't used it much yet, but I definitely will because I love how fast and how sharp it is. Alright, on to another lens that I recently bought and I am so in love with. Look, it's this one. It's the... Come on, could you please zoom? Could you please zoom for me? Yes, zoom. I said zoom, I meant focus. This one is the 85mm 1.8 and this one I bought secondhand too, also in very good condition. And I bought this one for portraits and for settings that had a little less light, and God, I love it. It's so fast, it's so sharp. I now get why everyone goes crazy over these 85mm. Like, the bokeh is out of this world, and I can't even imagine how amazing a 1.2 or a 1.4 is, but I'm already going crazy over the 1.8. And this is great if you're on a budget, because I bought this one secondhand for like 240 euros, and that's not much for an amazing lens like this. So if you're on a budget and you want amazing portraits, go and get this one. Alright, last but not least, it's this huge lens from Sigma. This was the second lens that I owned, and I love it. I love it. It's super heavy, but I still love it. This is my look at me, I'm a professional lens. When I walk around with this thing attached to my camera, it gives me instant respect. Size does matter. Anyway, I don't know if you can see anything. Probably not. No, it's super dark. Whoop. Yes, can we see stuff? Yeah. Anyway, I bought this one secondhand too, and after I bought this one, I drove up to Amsterdam with my boyfriend, and there's this nature park called Amsterdamse Waterleidingduinen, and there are a lot of foxes and deer and other animals there, and I shot my first ever fox photos, these ones, and it made me feel like such a professional. I remember looking at the photos and being like, what? Did I take these shots? What? Is that seriously my work? Are you kidding me? Yeah, good memories. And that was only a few months ago, actually. Was it like in March, maybe? March, probably. March, April, I guess. Amazing lens. It is really heavy though, but it gives you amazing zoom. Like, this goes from 70 all the way up to 200, and it's amazing when shooting moving objects. And with objects I mean living things like children or dogs or horses. When working with living things that will not listen to you, like dogs or children, you will need a zoom lens. And this one was pretty cheap. I bought it secondhand for 300 euros, if I remember correctly. Doesn't have image stabilization, which is a pretty big downside, but I could not afford a zoom lens with image stabilization, and I needed a zoom lens. And it is great. It's even amazing in situations where I have enough light. It's not amazing in low light situations, but that's why I bought the 85 1.8. That's gonna save me in low light situations. But you know, with these action shots, the dogs running, this is great. This is really great. So, would I recommend this one if you work with a lot of low light situations? probably not. But if you work with a lot of light, you work in the daylight and you always have enough light and you need a zoom lens, then sure, this one's just fine. So that concludes the lenses. There's more in my camera bag, like I've got a polarizer on my 50mm, I've got UV filters, backup battery, you know, backup memory cards and everything. I feel like that's not the most interesting part, and that's not what you came here for. So that's my gear. Look, I bought these lenses for a reason, but what you need to buy or want to buy is all up to you. I really want to get that out there. And also, again, do not put a too big of an emphasis on gear. Better gear will not give you just better photos if you do not know the basics. Is really what I want to get out there. I feel like that's really important. So, if you found this interesting, please leave a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and thanks for watching.